National Poetry Month, everyone. I know that today is April 7th, and I'm only on poem number 5, but yes, it took me 3 days to write this thing, and actually, it took me about 10 years to write this poem. So there's a long story behind this piece, which is that I have been competing in poetry slam since I was about 15, and back in college, I had this whole thing about how slam poetry and page poetry or academic poetry or whatever we call poetry that isn't slam poetry, there's not really a difference between them, even though we kind of argue about like this difference between these different types of poems. And it's a conviction that I still hold, but I've held for a long time. And back in college, I wrote this piece called Cross-Dressing Poetry, because the idea was a poem that is a non-slam poem that cross-dresses as a slam poem, or vice versa. And it was kind of fun, and people liked it. But looking back on it years later, I was like, this isn't that great a piece. I really want to rewrite it. And then I got this idea of, wouldn't it be cool if it was like a sestina? And then it would be this strict form. It would be this page poem, this academic poem, but it could also be a performance poem, and then it would be exactly what it is talking about. But sestinas are not easy to write, and I wrote several versions of this sestina year after year after year, and just didn't like it, and didn't like it, and didn't like it. I wrote other free-verse versions and continuously didn't like it. So for years, every April, I have been rewriting a version of this poem, and for years, I have just gone, nope, I don't like this, I'm not going to show this to anyone. And I finally have a version that I like, and we're going to rename this version. This is called Undercover Poetry. I am a poem undercover. By day I lay on a page, but each night I dress up and wander down the street to the slam. My coworkers call me academic, but my bar buddies think I'm something different. I am a poem that is always different. Children read me with a flashlight under the covers. Adults parade me in front of academics and insist I can't sit well upon a page, thinking I'll be slammed, but you can't put down a poem this well dressed. I am a poem that has won Best Dressed in a small town pageant that prided itself on difference. For my talent, I slammed an MC, but all the while I was undercover and returned the next day to my usual page in a sea of academics. I am a poem that has never quite been academic. I never liked to dress up on a page where no one is different under leather-bound covers when I was better suited to a slam. I am a poem that has never quite been slam. I spend too much time with academics who carefully open hand-sewn covers. I attend parties with them and toast their dress because I really am no different. Spat at the mic or read on the page. I am a poem that sits on a page and also sings at a slam. Who knows these poems are no different, though the performers argue with the academics. It's all in the way I am dressed, and you never can tell if I am undercover. Happy National Poetry Month, everyone! I will hopefully return soon with poem number 6 and catch back up. Stay healthy, stay sane.